Today in Retired Happy Kitchen, I'm going to be making chicken and dumplings sent in by Linda from Ovid, Michigan. Now the title of it is Chicken and Dumplings, but it has frozen peas in it and it sounds like a chicken pot pie. So I'm going to be making it again. I'm going to be halving the recipe, and the first thing I have to do is, so I'm going to be melting half a stick of butter. I have my oven already preheating to 350. Now while my butter is melting in the oven, I'm getting my other ingredients ready. So I'm halving the recipe. So I need 2 cups of chicken that is diced, 1 cup of milk, whole sweet milk, 1 can, and I have the mushroom soup, 1 can of chicken broth, 1 cup self-rising flour, and then it calls for peas, either frozen peas and carrots. And I do have the frozen peas and carrots out on my counter thawing. Plus I also have 1 can of veg oil. So I'm going to see how it goes. So right now the butter is melting. I'm going to go ahead and mix my 1 cup of milk and my 1 cup of self-rising flour. Okay, I have 1 cup flour I'm putting in my mixing bowl. And I will whisk that together with 1 cup of whole milk. Now if you'll hear Maisie in the background with her chicken, because every time I start talking, she gets her chicken out. That is the funniest thing. Now the 1/2 stick of butter is melted. I'm going to put 2 cups of diced chicken over the top of it. And I'm using some of the rotisserie chicken that I had gotten earlier and put in the freezer. And it is boneless. I have a combination of chicken legs and breast. I have 2 cups of diced chicken spread over the 1/2 stick of melted butter. Now in my bowl I have whisked together 1 cup of milk and 1 cup self-rising flour. So now I'll spread that evenly over the top of the chicken. And this sounds like a pot pie. It says the flour mixture will come on the top like a crust. So we'll see how it turns out. And it says, do not stir. Now next, in that same bowl, I'm going to mix 1 can cream of mushroom soup and this is a 14-ounce can of chicken broth. And I get the no salt added. This is fat-free chicken broth. And to the soup and the chicken broth, I'm going to add onion powder and garlic powder. I have the soup and the broth in the bowl. I'm going to add some onion powder, and I'm just going to add some to taste. There's not a specified amount. So I do like onion powder and garlic powder. So we will add that to it and stir that up well. Whisk the flour and the milk together. I did that. Whisk the soup and the broth together. Add the peas and the mix. So I'm going to go ahead and add the peas, and I'm going to add 1 can of mixed vegetables. This has the corn, the potatoes, and the green beans in it. So I'm going to add that to her original. Her original recipe only calls for the peas and carrots. So now the soup and the broth is whisked together. The peas will go in. I'm not going to add too many yet. I'm going to see how it looks when I add the veg oil. And I'm just adding the veg oil as an extra to it so it will look more like a chicken pot pie. So the soup, the broth, and the vegetables are all mixed together. Now we pour this over the flour and the milk mixture. Do not stir, and bake at 350 degrees for 35 to 50 minutes. The flour mixture will come to the top and it will be like biscuits. So I'm going to pour this now over the top. Try to get it as evenly as I can and get the vegetables and the broth evenly over the flour mixture. And I am going to take a little bit of that juice out. And I have a little bit too much juice. I'm afraid that's going to boil over. And Linda does say that she puts a pan under this pan in case it does bubble over and boil over. I could have used a bigger pan, but this is the first time I've made it, so I'm kind of winging it here, see how it all turns out. So that's all I'm going to put in. So now this is all together. It's going into the oven for 35 to 50 minutes, and we'll see how it comes out. Now the recipe calls for a 9 by 13 baking dish, and since I was halving the recipe, I used my 8 by 10. So there you go. It makes a good bit of mixture, so you'll have to judge and we'll see how it comes out. So we're going to let it sit here and cool just a little bit. And I think for my first serving, I'm going to scoop out this little part right here in the corner that is real toasty. While my dish was in the oven bubbling, it did bubble up over the corners just a little bit. And this is half the recipe. So I would suggest a bigger pan for half the recipe, and you can kind of use your judgment now after seeing how mine came out. So now for the taste test. I have my chicken and dumplings, my pickled beets, and my fresh apple. So I'm ready for lunch. Very, very good. I would say it's a cross between chicken and dumplings and chicken pot pie, but you'll love this recipe. You saw the pan. I would put it in a little bit bigger pan, and it is wonderful. Now I'm making blueberry drop biscuits. And for this recipe, I'm going to half the recipe. So it calls for 1 stick butter, which I have 1/2 stick butter. I'm going to use a small pan because the recipe calls for an 8 by 8 pan. So I'm using this small pie pan. I'm going to melt the butter and then mix 1 1/4 self-rising flour, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 cup fresh blueberries, and 1 cup buttermilk. Now I have 1/4 cup self-rising flour. I'm going to add to that 1/2 tablespoon baking powder. Usually don't need baking powder with self-rising flour, but this calls for it, so we're going to go ahead and follow the recipe. 1 tablespoon sugar. And I am halving the recipe, so the ingredients I'm giving you is half the recipe. Now we'll mix that up. And now 1/2 cup of fresh blueberries. And we're going to just toss those in the flour very gently. We want to get the blueberries tossed in the flour and coat them so they don't sink. So my butter is in the oven melting. Now I'm going to add one cup of buttermilk. And I have the whole buttermilk. This is my Kroger whole buttermilk. And now it says mix very, very gently, because we don't want to disturb, we don't want to break the blueberries open. So we'll gently mix all of this together. And when it gets gently mixed, we'll pour this into the melted butter. Now the oven is preheated, and it is to 450 degrees. Okay, now that is all mixed, and that's how quick and easy that came together. And my blueberries are beginning to break, so I'm going to stop. Now the butter is melted for the biscuits, and we're going to just take the dough and pour the dough right into the melted butter. You can't get much easier than this for biscuits. We don't have to roll it out on the counter, and we don't have to cut it. So let's get this all in our baking pan. I'm going to just kind of mash it around in that good old melted butter. Get it kind of spread out evenly. Let some of that butter come on up on the top of my biscuit dough. And I can tell this is going to be good. Mainly I'm cooking these for my breakfast in the morning. And I might have to have one for tea time this afternoon for my afternoon snack. Now, the recipe says after it's in the pan to go ahead and score the top. So I'm going to just do that with the back of my knife and go down and score it. And that should help it separate when it's baked. And you can tell the edges of it is already beginning to bake. So let's pop this back in the 450-degree oven, and it says bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. Now the biscuits are done. They are coming out of the oven, and they did bake for 25 minutes. Aren't those beautiful? Oh, they look so good. Now I do have some glaze. This is a half cup powdered sugar with some lemon juice in it. And while it's hot, I'm going to go ahead and spoon the glaze over the biscuits and let that just run all over the top of it. And I think I may have to have one for dessert today. Maybe just a little one, just to give it a try. Because these do look good. And this, I could have used a little bit larger pan than this. I was making half the recipe that called for an 8x8 pan, but I could have used a little bit bigger pan. I'm going to take the biscuits out of the pan so the bottom won't get soggy. And I'm ready to try one because they look so scrumptious. I'm going to take this little bite right out of right here. Oh, those are wonderful. Hot and crispy all around the edge. The blueberries are wonderful. So try this recipe for your blueberry butter drop biscuits. Now it's Saturday afternoon and I'm ready to make a new batch of juice. So I have my AMC juicer ready. Now I'm going ahead and getting my apple ready. I don't have to peel my apple, but I do have to take the core out, and we want to be sure and get all the seeds out. So after I get my apple halved, quartered, then I'm going to cut the quarters in half. And this is 2 apples. I think I'll divide half of it in the fruit juice and then half of it for the kale and spinach juice. There we go. I have my sharp knife saga knives, and now we're ready to start juicing. I have all of my fruit ready. My watermelon. These are my carrots and celery I'm going to put to the side for right now. And later on, after I get my juice all made, I'm probably going to make a jar of mixed fruit and vegetable juice. So now everything is put together. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and start loading the fruit. And this is so juicy. I'm going to add some apple and some grapefruit. And go ahead and put a couple of pieces of watermelon in there. Turn it on. So the watermelon and grapefruit all is very, very juicy. So I already have a lot of juice. I'm going to go ahead and pour that up. My jars are all washed and clean. So there's 1 pint of juice. I'm going to unplug it and open the top so I can more easily get my watermelon in, because I do want a good bit of this watermelon to go in this juice. And this time I'm going to add some of my peaches. And these are fresh peaches that I just got at the produce stand. So I'm not going to use all of them. I'm saving some for my ice cream tonight at supper. But I am going to add some of the fresh peaches. Okay, and then I'll finish up with my grapefruit and oranges. Now the rest of my apple and the rest of my orange and grapefruit I'm going to save for my kale juice. Put the lid on, snap it, and ready to go again. Now I have 1 more pint, and I think I'm going to have to get some more jars out for when I make my kale and vegetable juice. So now I have 2 pints, and I will end up freezing one of these because I won't be able to drink all of these pitchers at one time. So there we go, 2.5 pints so far. Now this time I have kale, some carrots, I have my celery ready, and I have some more grapefruit and oranges and some more apples. So this one is going to start my vegetable batch. So there we go. That's all we have. That's all my kale, all of my grapefruit, and my apples and my oranges. So this will be enough juice to last me a pretty good while before I have to make it again. So I have 5 pints. And I did decide when I was peeling all of the grapefruit and the oranges and the apples, and I had so much left over, I'm going to put the pulp out in my garden where I put all my peelings and just kind of spread it around and use it kind of as a mulch around my plants so it won't go to waste, because I really hated throwing it all away every time. So there we go. I have it ready now to put in the refrigerator, put a straw in it, and it will be ready to sip in the afternoons. Quick and easy as that. Get your fruit prepared, your vegetables prepared, put it in the top, let it do its work, and then you're ready to put it in the refrigerator. And cleanup does not take very long at all. Last time I used it, I showed you how simple it is to take apart, put it in the sink, wash it all, and let it dry. It does not go in the dishwasher, but I do hand wash it in my sink with hot soapy water. So now it's ready to enjoy, so bon appetit.